you, Hyderabad Ophthalmic Association, Dr. Raja. Hyderabad has a very special place in my heart. I love the city and I make it a point to be there at least 2 or 3 times a year and take morning walks around the Charminar, as you can see. So, so I'll be talking first about a case and then about my philosophy for treatment in myopic foveoschisis. So this was a 30-year-old patient. She came to us with a complaint. Left eye had a reasonably good visual acuity, which she was not satisfied with. There was early PSC 612 vision, and there was myopic foveo. Right eye here of the choroidal network. It's not so bad. There was traction temporal to the from the temporal aspect here. You see, and so this was the picture, and I normally don't rush into surgery in these patients. So I talked to her about the surgery. I like to document the progressive loss over time myself, and I told her to return back to me. So she came back 1 year later. I had asked her to come after 6 months. She came 1 year later. Her vision was 6/9, still in the right eye. And the left eye showed this more blurring of the choroidal vasculature here, as you see. And visual acuity had gone down to 636. And the OCT picture had also progressed. And she had a combination of inner and outer schisis along with maybe formation, definitely a lamellar hole, which could have turned full thickness. So, I always like to combine these surgeries with a IOL and phaco. Vitrectomy, ILM peels, C3F8 gas in the left eye. I use normally 10% C3F8 or 20% SF6 in these patients. In highly myopic eyes, I'm more inclined to use 10% C3F8, not the full concentration, but down to 10%. So as you see, this traction temporal to the fovea was nicely relieved. And this is my normal technique of surgery, which I follow in these cases. I not only do a fovea sparing peel, but I do fortification of the weak fovea here with 4 flaps. Is the envelope technique as advocated by Professor Hassan Mortada from Cairo. So 1 flap comes on top. I widen the peel, of course, to relieve all tractions. As you can see, the temporal aspect had the maximal traction. So this is my second flap. So the nasal ILM has now been removed. And I could see clinically the heavy traction under the microscope. I'm not much of a fan of the ingenuity. I like doing all my surgeries under direct visualization with the microscope. And we went ahead with this. So this was the pre-op picture. This is 1 week post-operative picture, because 10% C3F8 goes up from the fovea in about 1 week's time, and you are able to get a decent OCT. And this is 3 weeks post-op, 6/18 vision. We normally don't do the vision in the first week. We record the vision after 3 weeks. And that's the ILM flap you see up there. And a pretty good resolution. So this is an international photographic classification and grading system, which is basically based on blurring of the choroidal vasculature and the chorioretinal atrophy in these myopic eyes for MMT. But more significant is this classification, which is based on OCT. This is by Dr. Barbara Parolini, the inner outer macroschisis, which is further staged, then predominantly outer macular schisis detachment, and macular detachment. So these are the various subgroups which show the evolution from one stage to the other, and finally macular whole stage. And a plus sign can be added to indicate additional epiretinal abnormality. This is one of my favorite comparisons which I like to do, which is my logic for ILM peeling. That's a case, on the up left is a case of X-linked foveoschisis, which is also a schisis, but nothing to do with this pathology. You see there is no ILM traction in these cases. While here the culprit is the ILM, and of course the scleral ectasis, as we call it, formation of staphylomas. Everybody can't do a macular buckle. It's economically and technically both challenging. So I've been following a very simple flap, do the 4 flap. So I like to categorize my schisis into a simple one where there is predominantly outer, or a compound one where there's inner and outer. It's a very simple classification. And basically this helps me decide how much of temporal peel I want to do. Nasal, of course, I temporally also extend my ILM peel quite. This is earlier of an only-eyed patient. Again, he had 21, 26, 36 vision. And I did a non-foveal along with phaco. This was his pre-op picture, as you can see. And he, from pre-op visual acuity of oscillating between 636 and counting finger, that's what he used to be on some visit. I like to document a progression. I don't rush into the surgery at all. I got a post-op with cataract surgery of 20/40 vision. So in myopic foveoschisis, what I feel, there is a variability of the state of the macula, the state of the chorioretinal atrophy. Combined surgery works better. History of recent progressive decrease in vision is a good prognostic marker and one of the indications for surgery for me. Peripheral retina checkup is very important, as we all know. And in the absence of macular results, I have done few cases with macular hole also and have had reasonable results. For anterior segment surgeons, it is important to rule out MMT before taking patients of disproportionate visual loss for cataract surgery, especially in myopic eyes. So thank you once again for the opportunity to present with you here.